Well, despite new lush green everywhere, there's still some signs of Acadiana's deep winter freeze, with some of the plants struggling to bounce back. Frost-damaged citrus seemingly everywhere. And while they may look dead, it's a little too early to give up on them entirely. Typically this time of year, citrus trees would be blossoming out. But after historic cold temperatures earlier this winter, they're moving a little slow.
So with citrus, it's patience. Let's wait and see. The tree is going to tell you what's happening.
Many of them are still covered in brown leaves. And while that looks like it may be a dead tree, looks can be deceiving.
If it all leaves out, then we're all fine. A tree can be defoliated as many as 3 times and still survive just fine. So defoliation does not mean complete death.
Growth has started to return to some of the older citrus trees, with leaves beginning to sprout out.
Here we're seeing a tree that's leafing out very nicely. This is what we want to see. We want to see the tree returning to its state before.
It is important, though, to check where the growth is occurring and to make sure that the graft root hasn't taken over.
What we don't want to see is growth that's occurring very low on the tree, below the graft line, which is going to be almost near the soil line, within the first foot of the trunk of the tree.
With so much new tender vegetation, you'll want to be a little more hands-off with your trees this year.
These leaves are very soft and tender, which makes it easy for pest and disease to infiltrate the tree. Adding nitrogen would just complex this, adding more new growth, making it more susceptible at a warmer time when we have heavier insect and disease intensity.
So while we may not be getting much fruit this winter, at least our trees are still alive. In Lafayette, I'm Daniel Phillips, KTC TV3. Now, it can be tough to sit patiently sometimes and just kind of let nature take its course, but that really is the best action with citrus. Try not to overwater it or over-fertilize it until it can get itself situated. Now, unfortunately, I think that, yeah, the trees have survived, but I would say that we're probably not going to get, too many blossoms out there, too many fruit coming up this winter, but they're alive, so we'll take that.
And I think patience is so hard sometimes, right? We want everything right now. We get everything at our fingertips and,
Yeah, and like Marcus was saying, you see the leaves and you want to help it out, give it a little extra food, but you kind of open it up to insects, and usually this time of year you've got more mature leaves, they're blossoming, they're very lush and green. The tender stuff, we're getting into the hottest part of the year, we're getting into the buggiest part of the year, so there's more pests, more disease out there. You really just kind of want to hands off, let it do it, and let it do its thing.
Good tips. Thanks, Daniel.